Thank you for joining NAA's daily micro webinar. My name is Stephanie Anderson, and I am the Industry Operations Manager here at the National Apartment Association. If you are new to our series, thank you so much for joining us today. If you have been with us on this great journey, we do welcome you back and thank you for your continued support. In an effort to provide our membership with timely operational guidance amid COVID-19, we are producing daily updates in the form of micro webinars. Each day, we will focus on a different topic relevant to the apartment industry. At this time, I would like to direct your attention to the screen. Please take a moment to review our disclaimer. Today, I am so excited to introduce Megan Orser, Game Changer and CEO for Smart Apartment Solutions and Smart Moves Management, LLC. Megan will be sharing her motivational guidance on disruption, social distancing edition. Megan, welcome and thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you, Stephanie, and thank you to all of our NAA members and multifamily family out there. I hope you're all holding on and holding in okay while we get through this. Let's go ahead and dive in then. So let's talk disruption in multifamily. So for our discussion today, we're going to cover a couple of key topics. We're going to discuss what is disruption and how it's happening. We're going to do a quick or brief history lesson in the last 20 years of how we've saw disruption and what's come about it. We're also going to talk about how disruption is impacting the multifamily industry right now, and also some pain points that are getting a lot more painful. In addition to that, we're going to talk about what can be done to prepare ourselves to get through this. And then lastly, we'll wrap up this session with some awesome disruption wins for resident activities while we're practicing our social distancing. So let's go ahead and get started. So what is disruption and how does it happen? Well, it's referred to as a black swan event that occurs much like COVID-19, and we get turned upside down. We then have to make a bunch of adjustments and we find ourselves adjusting to a new normal way of life. And that's kind of what we're going through right now currently. In addition to that, we find that businesses that can adapt will stay and be sticking around after all of this is done. And then the ones that can't or are unable to will probably go away or will change dramatically through this. Through these pain points and as we move through this, new technology emerges and it helps us get through life a little bit easier and we can get back to our normal new way of thinking and way of performing in this industry. So, a quick history lesson on some disruption that we've seen in the past 20 years and what's come of it. We'll start with the severe acute respiratory syndrome, or better known as SARS. This started in the early 2000s, and this was going on just when shopping online was not really a thing, but something that you could do, but it wasn't very popular. People were still really comfortable with going to malls, bricks and mortar, and touching and feeling the items that they wanted to buy. But when SARS happened, we had travel bans, people had to stay at home, and so it forced our e-commerce and online commerce, especially in Asia, to skyrocket. A company by the name of Alibaba did exist, but it actually got catapulted during this, and they actually had higher sales than Amazon and eBay combined up until recently. So it moved that marketplace to the forefront of e-commerce. And I think we all can agree that online shopping is here to stay and has only gotten bigger and bigger and bigger. The second one I want to talk about is the financial crisis that we went through in 2007 and 2008. Probably a lot of you still remember the sting of this because it was pretty recent, but we found ourselves turned upside down again in our economy, especially here in America. And we had big mortgages, we had fancy car payments, and we had to figure something out. And so we had the birth of the gig economy. In 2008 and 2009, we saw companies like Airbnb, Uber, Lyft, all come to the marketplace to help us get back some of our money and start utilizing things like rideshare or Airbnb, where we could take our expensive big ticket items and sell or rent them out for a time being. Zipcar as well was another gig economy item that came out of this. The third one I want to discuss is something that we can't really put our finger on a start and really an end point, but that's our shrinking workforce. And I think we all can agree that we've experienced a shortage in talent for probably the last 10 years. We've all suffered from COSS, chronic open seat syndrome, and we've had to get creative with technology and introducing that into our lives. We've gotten a lot more creative with the positions we offer, allowing people to work from home or setting up remote offices. And so we've relied a lot more on technology, or at least the ones that have probably been conditioning themselves for something like we're going through today. So if you've been getting comfortable with webcams and video conferencing for some time now, probably the stay at home or working from home wasn't as shocking. For those that are just doing this or scrambling to find web cameras, they have a much bigger learning curve. So I'm not really sure when there will be an end to this. We're hoping maybe in the next 10 years or so, but it is something that we've been preparing ourselves to get leaner, meaner, and being able to virtually work virtually. So how is disruption impacting multifamily? Well, first let's start with the tour process. About 98% of us are on a stay-at-home order, and so that means our offices are closed to the general public. But if you talk to anybody out there in leasing, leasing is still going on. So the tour process has definitely been affected, but we've had to get creative and work around this social distancing that we're going through. The move-in and move-out process has definitely been changed. Even with our property management company, we're not doing orientations where we're doing move-in processes where we're showing them how to use the air conditioner or the garbage disposal or anything like that. We're having to do that all through video capability. We're even seeing that our turn processes are being affected. So if you're hearing some of the best practices that are coming out with maintenance, where we're not even sending maintenance into the apartment until 72 hours after we've gotten keys back, there's even management companies now that are putting an ozone machine in there for an additional 24 hours. I don't do math in public, but that equates to an additional 4 days in our turn process. So that's going to cause some disruption in our leasing process and how we're able to turn over units in time for the move-in, how we work with our supplier partners, even how we manage our online listings, because we've added an additional 3 to 4 days right to our turn process right at the beginning. And of course, our resident activities are also affected. Most of our resident activities require us to gather, and since we're not allowed to, we're going to have to come up with something else to keep people entertained, especially while they're staying at home. So, some pain points that were painful before COVID and that are getting a lot more painful and probably could be the difference of whether someone will stay in your community or if they will look for another community to go elsewhere. So, internet bandwidth has been king, boss, queen, master of the universe, whatever you want to call it, but it's been a necessity, and it's definitely been on a top priority of an amenity. After all of this, and as people are having to stay home and they're streaming a lot more Tiger King and whatever they're watching on Netflix, their internet capabilities are becoming more and more of a demand. There were some statistics that came out last year that said by 2020, we can expect to have over 50 devices connected in each household, and we've got to make sure that our internet bandwidth can support that. So it's time to start talking to your providers and making sure that we can offer that. It is definitely going to be a necessity moving forward through this. If you've been on the fence about package acceptance or management, it's time to get off the fence yesterday. And hopefully you're getting on the side of the fence where you're going to work with package management, because again, if it's something that you're still going to choose that you don't want to be a part of and you're not going to manage and you're not going to accept your residents' packages, it could be the difference of whether they choose to stay with your community or go elsewhere. We saw statistics last year increase exponentially in food delivery service as far as refrigerated food services from Home Chef, Blue Apron, Plated, all of them, even from Amazon to just online package. We call Primesia, where people will order and then forget what they were getting. Well, now they're not forgetting because they're sending every essential item that they can to themselves, and they're staying home so they have more time to do online shopping. So this is going to be imperative that you get on board with package acceptance. If it's something that you don't have the space for or the manpower, check with the supplier. We have a great supplier council that have tons and tons of resources to help you out with this, as well as third-party companies that will deliver the package to your residents 24/7. So there is a solution to these problems, people. Your online capabilities are also going to be very important. Do you have the capability to do a virtual tour? Can people apply on your website? Can they pay on your website? Can they put in a work order? Can they communicate with management? If your answers are no to this, it's going to get very, very painful, and you are absolutely leaving money on the table, because this is what our residents have been asking for, but now they're demanding it. What can we do to prepare? So first, you got to check your community's online presence. So we've been saying as marketeers that this is your new curb appeal for quite some time, but it's definitely time to make sure that you've got it going on now. Are you communicating to them even through the COVID-19 crisis and how to navigate it? Do you have very good communication on how to apply or to put in a work order? The question you need to ask yourself is, are we easy to do business with online? If the answer is no, then we need to figure out how can we get there. So are you comfortable with creating a virtual tour if you don't have one? Are you comfortable with speaking on camera or being on camera? Are you comfortable with doing some light editing and hosting it online? There is a lot of software that you can use to do virtual tours. We've seen great virtual tours live done on Facebook Live. We've seen people create a Zoom link or any kind of video conferencing for a private live link. Or if you have to record the video and then do some editing and launch it later on YouTube or Facebook, there are great apps out there like the Clips app. I love the Clips app. It actually has text dictation, so you can actually speak into the app. It will put the text over the overlay of the screen, and you can actually change the language. So if there's a language barrier, or you're working with somebody that speaks a different language, the Clips app still allows you to communicate with them in their language. So the sky's the limit. Just go out there and try. Here on the right-hand side of the screen, I have an example of one of the flyers we use in our management company during this contactless move-in process. So we utilize a lockbox. We put it on the unit door. We'll text our new prospect the code that they can get into the lockbox, and then they'll have this flyer usually put right on their refrigerator. It has a QR code where they can scan, and then they can do their move-in condition form right there, virtually right on their phone. It's not ever a paper exchange that we have to go through. It also has a QR code where they can scan to go to the online payment portal, the work order portal. And then we also utilize QR codes throughout the apartment to show them how to adjust the thermostat, or how to use that light switch that controls an outlet and not an actual fixture. All of these things that might actually generate a work order and have unnecessary maintenance trips over there, we try to take care of that right through QR code education. And then we've got a little explanation on, how you can scan a QR code and use that for the folks that may not know that yet. Okay, so now let's have a little bit of fun. Let's talk about some disruption wins for resident activities that you can do while still practicing social distancing and being safe. So I'm going to dive into each one of these. The first one is the live jigsaw puzzle or live bingo. So with the live jigsaw puzzle, they have hundreds of different puzzles going on live with people working on them from all over the world. You can, jump in and put a piece in here and there. You can start your own puzzle. You can start a puzzle project for your apartment community, for your residents. Really, the sky's the limit, and it's free. You can also do bingo. So if you're a community out there that likes to play bingo, maybe step it up a notch and try the letsbingo.com. It allows you to be the actual bingo caller. You generate a special link for your game, and then people can play this on their smart devices, their phones, their tablets. You can even then host it through Zoom or a video conferencing platform, and then they can actually see their live reactions in their faces and make it feel even more like we're all, together. Virtual cooking classes and meetups have definitely been on the rise. Some communities are just utilizing their video conferencing software. There is a quarantine cookbook or cooking club out there where they'll actually inventory all of the stuff that's in their pantry on Monday. They'll come up with a concoction, and then Friday as a group, they'll all prepare it together via Zoom, and then they'll enjoy it and give their feedback. If you're looking for something, though, a little more high-end, the New Orleans Culinary and Hospitality Institute.com or .org, I'm sorry, has classes out there with 5-star chefs that you can actually pay, and some of them are even free. They get to pick the ingredients and the time, but you get to have a online live or pre-recorded session on how to cook something awesome from an awesome chef. So I can't wait to try that one out. The next one is virtual paint clubs. So there is a great Facebook group called the Social Easel. So they do more long projects, so 3 or 4 day projects where you work at your own pace, and then as a community you can show your crafts together. Or if you're looking for more of a traditional painting with a twist party, yaymaker.com, they have all of the stuff set up for you. So you can actually buy the kit from them. They'll send it to you. It runs around $15 to $20 a person. And then on the specific day, they'll launch it via Zoom, and then you can paint together, drink some wine if you'd like, and have a painting party, but virtually. Virtual book clubs are also popping right up. So there's the quarantine book club that just came out. This one you can actually buy tickets and have live chat sessions with the author of a certain book. So if you're looking for more of a live interaction, this is a really cool idea. If you're looking for something that's not as, you know, regimented or planned, you can even just do a video conferencing club where you meet maybe once a week or once every couple of weeks. I've seen so many screenshots that look so fun from this, where people are either reading quietly on Zoom together, or you can see them having an active discussion about their favorite book or their favorite part. So I think it's a great idea to still stay social. Fitness has still been all of the rage. So most of our fitness centers are closed right now because we have to keep them sanitary and safe. So if you have the capabilities or want to do your own fitness sessions, there are tons of YouTube videos on how to set up your own virtual studio so that you can stream live. Usually it just takes, you know, maybe a green screen, a ring light, some kind of camera, a GoPro, or even your laptop, and you can go and stream it. If that isn't your cup of tea like me, you can also partner with a local gym in your area. They are also offering online classes, or I would tell you to check out your YMCA. So I've got a link here for the YMCA in Joliet. They're actually offering free Zoom classes to all of their members. So Zumba, yoga, senior classes, kids classes, strength training, whatever you want, they've got it. So check with your local Y and see what they offer you locally. Movie watch parties, probably one of my most favorite takeaways from this whole COVID-19. So maybe you've heard of Netflix Watch Party, where you can be the controller, you generate a link, you send it to your team, you watch the movie together or the show, and then on the right-hand side, it has a live chat where everybody can chat. Really, really fun. Some of the downsides, though, is everybody has to have a Netflix account. I've got a list here of a bunch of different other services where you can do the same thing without having your own account. The first one is called Cosme, and it's probably my most favorite. The reason I like it is you can do videos, you can do movies, but you can also play Super Nintendo games together, as well as have Texas Hold'em tournaments. Really, the sky's the limit with that one. Virtual happy hours have gotten very popular. Even in our local area here in Detroit, our Detroit Metro Apartment Association has been putting on virtual happy hours for about a month now. They've gotten so popular that we actually offer them 2 times on Friday. We offer them at 3 and then also at 5:30. We've been allowing our top sponsors to have access to this, so they're still getting FaceTime with our members. And then we come up with a cocktail and we just sit around on video conferencing and chat. When it first started out, we probably talked more best practices and more, you know, how to cope through COVID, but it's really turning into more of a lighter, fun conversation, and people are just really having a good time. I've heard such good feedback from this event, and it really just takes sharing a drink recipe and video conferencing a platform. So I've shared the first drink with you. If you want, it's the Quarantini. You've got a recipe right there. Good luck. All right, so if you're looking for a fun event that also educates some people and also could be for everybody in your community, then maybe you should check out the Google Earth Scavenger Hunt. If you search Google Earth Scavenger Hunt on Google Images, you'll find a ton of pre-made PDFs that have longitude, latitude, riddles that you can go and start dropping on your social media right now and starting the party with that. There's also the aaronintegration.com. They're a teaching company that actually creates online teaching modules for teachers to use in their class on Google Slides. They have a ton of pre-populated slides and scavenger hunts for Google Earth already prepared for you. So go check it out. This one was hilarious, so I had to share. The Getty Museum in LA actually came up with this event, and they said, choose your favorite artwork, find 3 things lying around your house and recreate those items and post it. There are several, so I would definitely recommend that you read this post, but I just thought this was a really fun way to get people to have fun while they're staying at home. The last thing I want to share is something that's very near and dear to my heart, and it's called Meal Train. I just recently lost a friend family friend member to the COVID-19 virus. And he was a young man and he left behind some children and a wife. And so out came from that was this meal train concept. And I wanted to share it with you because I didn't know until this tragedy happened. But they've even taken it a little bit further. You can actually have a meal train sign up sheet for your local hospitals. So if it's something that you're wanting to give back, or maybe start a philanthropy for your community, or maybe you even have someone in your community that's suffering themselves, and meals are just something that they shouldn't have to worry about in this time of need. It's an online scheduler that you set up where people can sign up for certain meals during the day, and they just commit to a time. They can put out what they're having, or they can just say to be determined. But it's a great way to still give community while being safe. Okay, so I want you to remember, you've got to plan ahead. If you don't have a webcam, it's time to buy one. Make sure you know how to use it. Make sure that you've got the video conferencing software and you're comfortable with sharing screens and recording and all of those fun things that they have for us now. Make sure that you're comfortable with virtual backgrounds if you're using Zoom. They're a lot of fun. Make sure that you're practicing. So if it's time to do that live bingo, make sure that you've practiced it a few times and that you're comfortable with the software. I'll stop beating that dead horse. All right, now it's time to get creative, because if you're having fun, then your residents are gonna have fun. And just remember to try, and try again. If your painting party wasn't a major success the first time out, maybe you just need to try it again, or maybe it needed to be offered at a different time, or maybe it's just not what your residents want. Don't give up. Don't throw the virtual world out, the baby with the bathwater. Just keep trying and keeping on, you guys. You got this. So it's really up to you. Are you going to be disrupted, or are you going to be the disruptor? I know that you can have it because you're already watching this webinar and you're already trying to get educated on how you can do more and bring more to your residents. And so with that, I will go ahead and wish you all luck and say thanks for watching today. All right, I'll turn it over
Megan,
to you,
thank you.
Stephanie.
Megan, thank you so much. You can breathe now. That was so much information to share, and we really appreciate it. As we know, disruption, it comes in all sizes, shapes, and forms, and there is no one size fits all for everyone. And you have really given so many great ideas to get our members excited about how they can make the best of this time. So I
Yeah.
look forward to seeing all the disruption that our members will cause in the days, weeks, and months ahead. For any questions any of you have, we do encourage you to email CV19questions at naahq.org. This is a great way to share any questions, concerns, and comments that are directly related to the coronavirus. Thank you again for joining us today, and we look forward to seeing you all back tomorrow for another great micro webinar. Thanks again, Megan, and thanks to our members. We hope you have a fantastic day.
Thank you.